Techa odi hallelujah sela, ashrei am shechachalo, ashrei am shana av tehila le David, Avramim chalo hay hamalach. Malchutcha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dos melech. Tihilat Adonai daber pi vivarech kol basar shem kodsho le'olam va'ed va'anachnu nevarech ya me'ata ve'ad olam hallelujah uva l'tzion goel u'l'shavei fesha b'Yaakov ne'um Adonai V'ata kadosh yoshev tehilot Yisrael v'kara ze el ze ve'amar Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch al haaretz kevodo, umikablin den min den v'amrin Kadosh. V'tisa'eni ruach v'ashma acharai kol ra'ash gadol, Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo, unatalatni ruach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai Elohei Arahon. Adonai Tzevaot Ashrei Adam Boteach Bach. Adonai Hoshia Hamelech Yadenu V'yom Karenu. Baruch Eloheinu. ויבטחו בך יודעי שמך כי לא עזבת דורשך אדוני אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויאמר יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכנו וימיכנו בחי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה בימרו אמן. כולם יתברך וישתבח שמך שלום רב ישראל
We remain standing if possible, page 306, for the repetition of the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot, U'Mevi Goel Ibnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atah, Rav lehoshia, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim u'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato lishenei afar, Mi chamocha bal gevurot u'mito melach, Melech meimit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua, Ne'emanata l'hachayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hametim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam kishem shemakdishim oto bishmei morom kakatuv al yad neviecha v'kara ze el ze ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzevaot Meloch al haaretz kevodo Umatam Baruch Yomeru Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo, Uv'divrei Kodshecha Katuv Lemor. Yimeloch Adonai le'olam Elohayich Zion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah. Ledor Vador Nagid God Elecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim Kedushatcha Nakdish, V'shivcha Elohim mipin Elohimush le'olam eva'ed, Ki el melech gadol v'kadosh atah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Cantor, page 309, the second paragraph, Atah v'chartanu.
Atah v'chartanu mikol ha'amim, Ahavta otanu v'ratzita banu, v'romametanu mikol halashonot v'kidashtanu b'mitzvotecha, v'kerevtanu malkeinu la'avodatecha, v'shimcha hagadol v'hakadosh, aleinu karata. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, moadim l'simcha, chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom, Chag HaSukkot hazeh zeman simchatenu mikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Ya'alev yavo v'yeretz v'yishama v'yipokeh v'yizacher zichronenu ufikdonenu, v'zichron Avotenu v'zichron Mashiach ben David Avdecha, וזיכרון ירושלים עיר קודשך, וזיכרון כל עמך בית ישראל לפניך, לפלטה לטובה לכן ולחסד ולרחמים לחיים ולשלום, ביום חג הסוכות הזה. זכרנו אדוני אלוהינו בו לטובה, ופקדנו בו לברכה, והושיענו בו לחיים. ובדבר ישועה ורחמים חוס וחונן ורחם עלינו והושיענו, כי אליך עינינו, כי המלך חנון ורחום אתה. והשיאנו אדוני אלוהינו את ברכת מועדיך לחיים ולשלום לשמחה ולששון, כאשר רצית ואמרת לברכנו, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, קדשנו במצוותיך, ותן חלקנו בתורתך, סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעובדך באמת. והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו בשמחה ובששון מועדי קודשך, וישמחו בך ישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים. רצה אדוני אלוהינו ביומך ישראל ובתפילתם, והשב את העבודה לדבר ביתך, ותפילתם יבוא תקבל ברצון, ותהילו רצון, תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך. ותחזינו עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני המחזה שכינתו לציון. מודים אנחנו לך. הטוב כי לא כל רחמך והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך. יאו כולם יתברך ויתרומם שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד, וכל החיים יודוך סלה, ויהללו את שמך באמת. האל ישועתנו ועזרתנו סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני. הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, יאו כל יושבי תבל תשים לעולם, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל השלום. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויאמר דבר חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכנו ובמחנו בחייך בית ישראל, בעגלו בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעמה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון ואותון לכל ישראל, קודם אבוהון דבשמיא ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב על כן נקווה לך אדוני אלוהינו ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
The Mourner's Kaddish, Yitkaral, Yitkarash, Shemei Rabo, Biolma Yibarach Yerute, Yamlich Malchute, V'chaye Chon of Yomei Chon, V'chaye Nechol Beit Yisroel, V'agalav Yizman Karib Yimeru Amei, Neishmei Rabo Mevorach, Leolam Omei Omaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach, V'yitzpalach, V'yitramah, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Rekudusha, V'richu, V'yeila Minkol Birchata, V'shirata, Tishbachata, V'nechamata, Damiran B'yalma, Yimru Amen. Yehei Shalom Rabo Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen. We want to thank the cantor for leading us this late afternoon and our mincha service and everything they did. That was really for us. Also, I want to thank Susan for allowing our virtual community the opportunity, if they so wish, to be part really of our mini community. And of course, I want to thank everybody here who's made the minyan. As you know, the minyan is something very, very important to this congregation, and many synagogues much, much, much larger than Melrose do not have minyanim. We have about 2 or 3 minutes because it's a little early, and I just want to share with you certainly not a most thoughtful stories, but something that happened to me today. Someone said to me, did you watch the Phillies game? And I got to tell you, I went home for lunch and I climbed into bed. Not because I was tired, because something that happened here. And, we're still in a period of judgment. As we said earlier today, we said, Hoshana, God should deliver us. And we had a gentleman, I confused his name. His name is Norman. Norman, I guess, lives in Huntington Valley, and he's a real foundation of Kesher Israel down in downtown. I had the opportunity, never met him, had the opportunity of talking to him, and he tells me that he watches my son's TV shows, and he happened to be didn't realize he's a tremendous basketball fan, this guy. In fact, he played in the Maccabi games. He told me they have an age category, 35 and older, and the coach that year was Dolph Shades, who was one of our neighbors and was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friend who passed away, Zichrono Livracha, a blessed memory. And then he told me about his kids in terms of they also are into sports. And he invited me that he lives during the summer months down in Ventnor. And he invited me, because I play basketball, to come down and play basketball really again with him. Now he says he's 72 years of age. He played basketball with Dolph Shays and was a great, great foul shooter in the Basketball Hall of Fame and coached, in fact, here the 76ers. And after he was fired, he became really the head of the NBA referees. Now, the reason I climbed into bed is because it's the end of the conversation. And I learned a little about humility, very little. So Leah was with me, so she could testify. This story is true, correct, Leah? Okay, this one is a true story. The rest of them you can just forget about, okay? But this one you can. And as I'm about to leave, when he suggested, or I think I suggested that, I'd like to play some basketball really, with this guy. And he said to me, he says, it looks like, it looks like, you still have the ability, because he just wanted to do foul shooting. Because he says, I don't want to tax you. And then he says, it looks like, you're in pretty good shape for a guy who's 80 years old. At which point I said, well, first of all, I ran home and looked in the mirror, okay? And I saw things that I never saw before. And at which point I said, I got to go into bed. This is really I have to do. But again, you learn really lessons about life from the strangest people. Obviously, really, I told the guy he's never welcome back here at the synagogue. And I wish him well, really, Kesher Israel in his congregation. But Warren, where did we find this guy? Did you bring him and plant him here? Huh? Well,
he came with a friend.
Yeah.
Was he the gentleman that helped restore that synagogue?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he told me one other story that I asked him to write up for me. His father, how did this guy become so involved with that synagogue? His father owned a hardware store at 4th and Bainbridge. And when he told me that his father had a store at 4th and Bainbridge, I thought he was the owner of Famouses, okay? But because Famouses is 4th and Bainbridge, his father owned the hardware. So he says, my father was not religious. I said, yeah. He says, but my father knew they always struggled to get a minyan at Kesher Israel, even years ago. And my father had a sign, okay, at his hardware store that he said to them, if you have 8, do not call me. If you have 7, do not call me. However, if you have 9, give me a call. And his father would lock the store, and he would put a sign in the front of the store that said, went to evening or went to minyan, will be back soon. And the son really turned to his father and he said, Dad, you're not religious. I mean, what are you doing here? And the father said to this guy who was here many, many years, he said, Norman, one of these days you'll learn what's important in life. And the interesting thing, Norman does the exact same thing that his father does. The guy lives not downtown, he lives all the way up in Huntington Valley and goes every Shabbos and holidays down to there. And because really he's carrying on that tradition from father to son. I found that to be a very, very compelling kind of story of what we do really with life. So, what I am going to do to get really in practice to play Norman in a game, I'm going to probably after minyan go out to one of the basketball courts at Wall Park with Rabbi Rosenblum. Okay, really, who will stand under the basket, and as the ball comes through he'll feed me the basketball back and forth, right? Huh?
In your dreams.
I thought you told Rabbi Rosenblum when you have plumbing issues or stuff like that.
I'd just like to know how you know Norman is telling the truth about his continuing basketball prowess.
Because I don't know, but what I intend to do is Google him tonight.
What's that?
I tend to Google him tonight, things like that. But yeah. Warren, did he play basketball, the guy?
I never saw him before.
Well, I got to tell you.
Start stalking him, Rabbi.
No, I got to tell you, you may be correct. There was something a little suspect because he also said he pitched for the Phillies in the World Series. So I don't know where the truth lies really with Norman. First of all, you ever watch that commercial, Norman the Carpet Guy?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Huh?
Remember that this is on Zoom.
Norman. Huh?
Norman the Storman, they call him.
What do they call him?
Norman the Storman?
That was Norman Schwarzkopf.
That was Storm and Norman.
And we'll end with this, because there's a story. I was head of the rabbinic cabinet for the only children's hospital in the Middle East many years ago. It's a gorgeous hospital in Petah Tikva. It then took the name of some guy from Long Island, Schneider, because they have a hospital in Long Island. It gave a lot of money. And so they had their major dinner at the Waldorf Astoria. And they asked me to deliver really the prayer, and they knew the story really of our family, and it was a black tie affair. Unbeknownst to us, that night, the Football League, the college foot, was doing their inductions for the Hall of Fame. They must have had 3,000 of these famous athletes there, colleges, and it was also a black tie affair. And the guest speaker was right after the Iraq War, was General Norman Schwarzkopf. So I'm wearing a tuxedo, and Leah, of course, really is elegantly dressed. And we said, why don't we go in? They have no idea who we are, okay? So we go in to this dinner after I was done with ours, and all of a sudden, Schwarzkopf, it's over, and he's at the dais, and there's a group of people around him. So, I pushed Leah forward, and I said, they had a gorgeous program, with this photograph. Do you want to end the story? Tell the story. Just tell her what happened.
I was the only woman.
Wait, talk loud. Here.
I was the only woman in that crowd by the dais, and he called me over first to give his autograph.
Right, the story of American Bob. What happened, Leo was the only young woman at that point at the dinner, okay? So that all these famous people are surrounding him, and he makes contact with Leah, okay? He says, come over here, okay? And, we got our Norman Schwarzkopf autograph, and we made a fortune on eBay with it. Do we still have it?
Maybe in the basement.
Oh,
Not if you
okay.
made a fortune on eBay with it.
What'd you say?
Not if you made a fortune on eBay.
No, we
with
didn't
it.
sell it. There are certain things that are sacred in life. Okay, everybody, as they say in our business, it's called filler, okay? And now it's time to daven Marav. And Jerry, if you want to lead us, page 264, as we have Ma'ariv, we rise if possible. Page 264 for Ma'ariv.
Rakom mekaperbo lo yashis v'hir bol hashiva bol yirkol kamaso Adonai Yoshia Melech Yanenu v'yom kareinu Baruch es Adonai Hamborach Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Asher bibarom ha'ariv aravim V'chachma b'tei she'arim V'usuna meshanei tima v'chalit et hazmanim Sader et kol kafeim b'shmortechem barak hirkir tzono Borei yom v'layla go'et n'yekoshe v'choshe mibnei or Ma'avir yom v'mavir layla Ma'avdil ben yom v'mavir layla noit tzvot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimo kol le'olam v'ed Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv aravim Ahavas Olam Beis Yisrael L'macha'avta Torah mitzvotim u'chukim u'shpatim otan olam alata Alkin Adonai Eloheinu v'shokmeinu kumenu nasiach v'chukacha v'nizmak b'ivrei tovasecha mitzvosecha le'olam va'ed Ki heim chayinu v'yorach yamenu v'hem negei yomam v'layla Ahavarcha tetzimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol 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 nafshecha v'chol me'odecha V'ayu advarim ha'elia Asher Elohim etzavaka Hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובדקתך בדרך, ושוקתך קומך ויוסע ידיך, והיו תתפוס בין עיניך, וקצתם על מזוז ביתך ובישעריך, והיה עם שמות את נפשכם, ואחוש הסוד לכם, ולכם פתרת התורה, אלא לכם, לכם, וקבלים שכם, לכם יש מים הארץ, Adonai Elohim Emet U'malchuso b'ratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe omer li'emo v'nei Yisrael l'choshana Sh'onu shira b'simcha rabba V'yomeru kulam Mi kamocha b'alim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Lo rati lo sosei peleh Malchuso v'necha b'kayam lifnei Moshe Ze Eli onu v'yomeru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar ki chad Adonai es Yaakov V'gelo mi'ach chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Yah Yisrael Ashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim V'frosenu sukat shlomecha V'takninu eitzato v'melfonecha V'hoshinu l'man shemecha V'hagim b'adinu v'seme'elenu Oyev de'v'rab yagon V'chaser soton nefenim v'acharenu V'vetel kanafecha tastirenu K'el shomenu matilenu ata Yom elchanu v'achu mata V'ushmor teseinu avenu chayim shalom etav yarolam Baruch atah Adonai Shema omer Yisrael la'ad Baruch Adonai le'om amen v'amen Baruch Adonai mitzion shinu shem hallelujah Baruch Adonai Elohim Eloi Yisrael seinu v'gavodo Orushem kavod le'olam Yemei kavod kol haaretz amen v'amen Yehi kavod Adonai le'olam Yismach Adonai ma'asav Yehi shem rachmi etav yarolam Ki lo yitos Adonai evamo Ma'avor shemo hagadol Ki ho'il Adonai la'asot eschem lo la'am V'ayar kavod Adonai yipalu al painu V'ayavri asdecha shirah Baruch Adonai b'yom, Baruch Adonai b'layla, Baruch Adonai b'shachmeinu, Baruch Adonai b'kumenu, Ki v'yodenu shalachim ha'mesim, Asher ber nefesh kol chai, Baruch kol b'tzar ish, V'yodcha v'chibru chibotita oti Adonai alamed, Eloheinu Shabbat shamayim, V'yakeshim v'kafakayim achushat tomid, U'melech aleinu le'olam v'ed. Yeru enenu v'yismach libeinu, V'tel Mosheinu b'shorecha b'emes, V'emur l'isinu molach el ha'ich, Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'ed. V'chavachus shel chachim me'atimach b'chavod, Ki lo melech ela atah, Baruch atah Adonai. O melech b'kvodo, Tomid yimloch aleinu le'olam v'ed, V'yakol ma'asav. Yizkadav Yizkad Shemei Avavad V'yom Adi B'rachim V'sei V'yom Echmachasei V'chaychom V'yom Echom V'chayid V'kol B'ei Yisrael V'chol Azman K'ri V'imru V'yom Shmei Rabba Morara V'yom Maya Yizbarak V'yishtabak V'yisbar Yismam Yisnasei V'yisadar V'yisalef V'yisalal Shemei D'Kudisha V'yulei L'mikol B'yachasah V'shir V'shah V'chasah V'nechasah Yom Yom Avimru. Amen.
We rise, please, if possible, page 270, include the prayers for the end of a holiday, but also we continue praying for Chol HaMoed and Sukkot. Yalla. Yishalim, page 280.
Yikarov Kirash Shemei Rabba. V'yom Adibra Chirusei, v'yom Ikmachusei, v'chaychon v'yoichon, v'chayed kol Yisrael, v'azman kari v'imru. Amen. Shemei Rabba Mevorach, le'olam alo me'amaya, Yisborach. Yisborach, v'ishtabach, v'yisborach, Shemam Yisasei, v'yisadar, v'yisalek, v'yisal Shemei Dekudisha. V'yichu le'el, amin kol b'yachasad, v'shivasad, v'shvachasad, v'nechem Amiran b'yom avimru. Amen. Dikval, to'oton, v'oton, t'kol Yisrael, k'dam v'vod Yishamayim v'imru. Amen. Eish, lama rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'yamavu, yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
The mourner's Kaddish, Yitgaral, Yitgarash, Shemei Rabba, B'yoma Divrach Yerutei, B'yamlich Machutei, B'chayechon, B'chayechon, B'chayeru, Chol Beit Yisrael, B'agala B'zman Kariv Imeru, Amen. Eshmei Rabba, Mevorach, Leolam, Omeomaya, Yitbarach V'ishtabach, V'tzba'ar V'tramam V'yitnaseh, V'tadar V'tala V'tala, Shmei Dekudisha Barichu, L'yeila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tishbechata V'nechamata, Damiran B'yoma V'imru, Amen. Hey Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imramav V'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. There's a Havdalah service wine.
Yes,
Yeah, so is there wine or?
yes,
Where is it?
underneath the canner's lectern.
Oh, which means a canner of rock. Yeah, this is really what it is. So if you'll rise, please, if possible, we have a brief Havdalah service. Jerry Bavakasha Todo Rabba. Thank you for leading us in Ma'ariv. Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lechol ben or lechoshech ben Yisrael la'amim ben yom hashvihi l'sheshet yemei hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Amen. Again, wish everybody as a Sabbath of God, wish everybody Shabbat Tov. Tomorrow morning again, not at 8, but a quarter of 8. And it's hard to believe.
On Zoom, Rabbi.
What?
On Zoom.
Oh, yeah, it's a Zoom, okay, Zoom Live. And also, it's hard to believe, last Tuesday night was Carnage Row. It's unbelievable. What did somebody say? The days are long, but the years are short. This is what it is.
Very profound.
I quoted, you're right, of course, I heard that from you.